Students, in this video, I am going to discuss Cauchy type singular integral equations. Fine. So, to solve and what is the Cauchy type integral equation, we will discuss it later on. But before that, we have the concept of Cauchy principal value for integrals. So, what is the Cauchy principal value? Let's see. So in case of an improper integral of the form say a to b f of x dx, we know that what is the meaning of improper integral. Improper integrals means either limit is infinite. Improper integral, this is improper means this integrand may be discontinuous or not well defined in this entire interval, or maybe at point of this interval, then that type of integrals is known as improper integrals. So here in case of an improper integral this, where f of x is unbounded, that means function is not defined at least at a point. That point is suppose x is equal to c. So here function is unbounded at x equal to c, where c is in between a and b, but it is bounded in each of the intervals. So if you remove this c, just remove this point c, so we get a to c minus epsilon 1 and c1 plus c2 to b. That means we are having basically a hole here. So basically what we have, if you will see here, we have this interval a to b, here is somewhere c. So basically we are taking this interval around this. So this is c minus epsilon 1, this, and this is c plus epsilon 2. That means this part is epsilon 1 and this is epsilon 2. So we are removing this neighborhood. So that's why a to c minus epsilon 1, and from here c plus epsilon 2 to b. This is not symmetric, but may be taken as symmetric. Maybe epsilon will equal to epsilon 2, but here we are taking different radius. Here is epsilon 1, here the radius is epsilon 2. Both are different. Fine. So here we have taken this and this, where epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are arbitrary small positive numbers. Then the limit will be a to b f of x dx can be written as limit epsilon 1 tending to 0, epsilon 2 tending to 0. So we can take a to c minus epsilon 1 f of x dx plus c plus epsilon 2 to b f of x dx. When both are tending to 0, so we get a to c, c to b. So continuity is maintained. Fine. So if it exists, this limit, then this is called general value of the improper integral, where epsilon and epsilon 2 are different. This is called general value. Here it is assumed that epsilon and epsilon 2 tend to 0 independently. That means they are not dependent to each other. ये अलग अलग 0 की तरफ tend कर रही हैं. There is no relation between epsilon and epsilon 2. But it may happen that the limit 1 does not exist when epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 tend to 0 independently of each other. तो ये हो सकता है कि अगर हम 0 की तरफ टेंड कराएं इसको independently, then this limit will not be evaluated or does not exist. Fine, ये हो सकता है. And when both are interrelated, that means they are having some relation between epsilon and epsilon 2, then this limit will exist. This may happen. जब दोनों रिलेटेड हो तो ये हो सकता है लिमिट एग्जिस्ट करे, जब दोनों इंडिपेंडेंट हो तो हो सकता है लिमिट एग्जिस्ट ना करे. दिस मे बी हैपन. फाइन. सो दैट्स व्हाई this may happen tend to 0 independently of each other. So this limit does not exist when epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 tend to 0 independently of each other, but exists if epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are related. That means they are having some certain relation. For example, here example is this. Suppose f of x is 1 by x minus c. Put f of x equal to 1 by x minus c. You will see. So what we will, so this is here plus this integral is here. After solving this integral, we get limit log b minus c upon c minus a plus log epsilon 1 by epsilon 2, where c is in between a and b. Now if epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 tend to 0 here, if epsilon is tend to 0 independently. So here is 0 by 0 form. So this is indeterminate form, and that's why this limit will not exist. This limit will not exist due to this factor. But if we have some relation, however, if epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are related, then the preceding limit exists. This limit exists. For example, suppose epsilon 1 is equal to epsilon 2. That means we are having symmetric neighborhood around C. अभी तो असिमेट्रिक है, लेकिन अगर एप्सिलॉन टू एप्सिलॉन टू दोनों बराबर हो जाएंगे तो सिमेट्रिक नेबरहुड बनेगा अराउंड सी. सो देन दिस लिमिट एग्जिस्ट्स and limit will be epsilon 1 equal to, so they will be cancel out, and then this will be 1 and log 1 is 0. So ultimately what we will have this integral is a to b dx upon this, which is log b minus c upon c minus a. That means this part only. Fine. So this is, and this value is known as principal value. So such a limit is called Cauchy principal value. When epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 they are interrelated, then the limit is known as Cauchy principal value, or simply principal value of the integral, and usually denoted by p. This p means principal value of the integral, this a to b f of x dx, or in some books this is denoted by a to b star is there. This is star. This is star f of x dx, to show that we are calculating principal value. Fine. So the principal value of first equation number 1 or integral number 1 is principal value of a to b f of x dx. This is also represented as a to b f of x dx star, which is equal to limit epsilon tending to 0 a to c minus epsilon f of x dx plus integral c plus epsilon to b f of x dx. Here you will see that epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 both are replaced by alpha. So both are equal to epsilon. Fine. So they are related. And hence here we have only single epsilon rather than epsilon 1 and epsilon 2. Fine. So this is denoted by 2. Similarly, the general value of minus infinite to infinite f of x dx is defined by this. Fine. अब यहाँ लिमिट इनफाइनाइट है. यहाँ क्या था? Here function this is infinite at some point, and limits are finite. But here what is going on? Here limits are infinite and function is bounded. Fine. So to calculate this is the general value. General value means limit epsilon 1 tending to 0, epsilon 2 tending to 0, and this is replaced by minus 1 by epsilon 2. This infinite is replaced by 1 by epsilon 1 f of x. This is general value. Now for the principal value, Cauchy principal value, just replace those by epsilon. So principal value of this integral is equal to limit epsilon tending to 0 minus 1 by epsilon to 1 by epsilon f of x dx. This is the principal value. Fine. So this is basically the principal value. This is the general value. Fine. तो जब भी प्रिंसिपल वैल्यू निकालेंगे इसका मतलब एप्सिलॉन 1 एप्सिलॉन 2 को एप्सिलॉन से रिप्लेस कर देंगे. Here limits 2 and 4 are also known as singular integrals. They are also known as 2 and 4. Both are also known as singular integrals. Such singular integrals exist when the integrand f of x satisfies the following regular condition. तो ये जो है इंटीग्रेंड आपका, ये जो है आपका एग्जिस्ट करता है if following condition holds, and the condition is known as Holder's condition. So what is Holder's condition? Let's see. A function f of x is set to satisfy the Holder condition if there exist constants k and alpha, where alpha is in between 0 and 1, such that for every pair of points x1 and x2 laying in the range a to b, both variables laying in this range, we have f of x1, magnitude of f of x1 minus f of x2 less than k multiplied by magnitude of x1 minus x2 raised to the power alpha. So this is Holder's condition. Fine. So if this Holder condition is satisfied by the function, then we can say that this integrand is basically exist. the singular integral exists. Singular integral exists. So now a function satisfying the Holder's condition is known as Holder continuous. Fine. So when this is satisfied, so this is known as Holder continuous. Holder continuous. तो उस function को हम क्या कहेंगे? Holder continuous. In particular, when alpha is 1, then equation 1 is called the Lipschitz condition. आप लोगों ने differential equation में पढ़ी होगी Lipschitz condition. Fine. The Holder condition can be extended to, so अभी तक हमने function जो लिया है वो one variable का लिया है f of x. Now if we are extending this to the two variable problem, then the Holder condition can be extended to a function of more than one variable. तो इसको अब हम एक से ज्यादा वेरिएबल के लिए ले जा रहे हैं. फाइन. Thus the kernel kxt, this is a function of two variable, is Holder continuous with respect to both variables if there exists constant k and alpha, where alpha is in between 0 and such that magnitude of f of x1 की जगह अब क्या हो गया है, kernel x1 t1 minus kernel x2 t2 is less than equal to this constant k multiply by magnitude of x1 minus x2 raised to the power alpha plus magnitude of t1 minus t2 raised to the power alpha, where x1 t1 and x2 t2 lie within the range of definition. Fine. So this is the two variable problem Holder's condition. जो पहले डिस्कस की थी वो वन वेरिएबल की थी. For the solution of Cauchy type singular integral equations on the real line, now we study certain identities. तो कुछ आइडेंटिटी की हमें ज़रूरत पड़ेगी to solve this. So first we have identity number 1. Identity means just like a direct formula. Fine. So prove that minus integral 0 to u, this is minus 0 to u minus s divided by s whole power raised to the power alpha, इस पूरे ब्रैकेट की पावर अल्फा ds divided by u minus s multiply by s minus t is equals to, so we have two parts. One, when t is in between 0 and u, the value of this integral is minus u minus t raised to the power alpha minus 1 divided by t raised to the power alpha multiply by pi cot alpha pi. So here t is less than u, but when u is less than t, here u, s and t, three variables are used, so integral is taken over s. Fine. So that's why we have this relation between t and u. When t is less than u, the value of this integral is this. When u is less than t, the value will be t minus u raised to the power alpha minus 1 divided by t raised to the power alpha pi upon sine alpha pi. Fine. So we have to prove this. So now proof. Consider the integral, this integral, so 0 to u minus 0 to u minus s upon s raised to the power alpha ds upon u minus s s minus t, where alpha is in between 0 and 1. Now to solve this, basically we will take this part u minus s upon s as a new variable v. So u minus s upon s is considered as a new variable v. Fine. So this can be further rewritten as u by s minus s by s is 1 is equal to v. Now differentiate with respect to s in the left hand side and with respect to v in the right hand side. So what we get here, minus u by s square ds is equal to dv. Fine. Now from here you can also find out s. So u by s minus 1 is equal to v. So u by s is equal to 1 plus v. So from here s is equal to u upon 1 plus v. Fine. Now we are writing this as a new variable v. So now what will be the limit of v? When s is here 0, s is 0, then what will be the value of v? So from here, when s is 0, here, so you will get u upon 0, that means infinite, minus 1 will be infinite, hence v is equal to infinite. When u is 1, sorry, s is 1, when s is 1, s is u, when s की वैल्यू u के बराबर होगी तो s is u is cancel out with u -1, so v की वैल्यू आएगी आपकी 1 - 1 will be 0. ठीक, so here we have this. At s equal to 0, v is infinite. At s equal to u, v is 0. So now I will be integral minus v is now infinite to 0, and after substituting this value here, u minus s upon s, this is replaced by v, so v raised to the power alpha. Then ds, this ds is written as this ds, this ds is written as, इसको हम ले जाएंगे राइट हैंड साइड में, so ds is equal to minus s square by u dv. Fine. Next is the denominator part, this u minus s. From here u minus s is nothing but s into v, so इसको s into v से replace करेंगे. यहाँ s is replaced by u upon 1 plus v minus t. Fine. So after substituting all these, we are getting this v raised to the power alpha minus s square u dv upon sv u upon v plus 1 minus t. Now simplify. So minus 0 to infinite, we are taking minus sign, this consider, we are considering this minus sign, this is as it is same. So इसको माइनस से करेंगे तो ये इंटरचेंज कर सकते हैं. सो 0 to infinite. Now v raised to the power alpha, एक v यहाँ पर है पावर, so v raised to the power alpha minus 1. Here s, here is s square, so cancel out one power, so we get s dv divided by this u, ये u है आपका u, this u, and then u minus v plus 1 into t divided by v plus 1. This is minus 0 to infinite v raised to the power alpha minus 1 s, and then this v, so v plus 1 dv divided by this u and u minus v plus 1 t. But s into v plus 1 is from here, if you will see, s into 1 plus v is basically u, s into this is u, so this s into v plus 1 is replaced by u, so u divided by this u minus v plus 1 into t, this u is cancelled out with u, so minus 0 to infinite v raised to the power alpha minus 1 dv divided by u minus v plus 1 t. Fine. So this can be further rewritten as, now multiply by minus sign here, so they will be interchanged. So here is vt minus vt this, and u minus t, u minus t is this. This is equation number 1. Now let us consider, let us define xi, a new variable xi, as tv upon u minus t. According to this, so this tv divided by u minus t is xi if t is in between 0 and u, and tv upon t minus u when u is less than t. We will define this xi as per this bifurcation. Thik? So now case number 1, when t is in between 0 and u, then according to our choice xi will be this. So xi is tv upon u minus t. From here you can find out v. So v is u minus t by t into xi. Now differentiate. So dv is equal to u minus t by t d xi. Now here we have limits, v is equal to 0. So when v is 0 here, then v is 0, and we are considering this t is less than u and both are positive. So what will be the sign of this? U minus t will be obviously positive sign. V will be 0. So that's why xi will be 0. When v is infinite, t is positive value, u minus t is also positive. So that's why when v is infinite, xi is also infinite. Fine. So this is possible when t is, because t is positive and t is less than u, that's why. So now this integral number 1, this 1 becomes I is equal to So v, when 0, xi is 0. When v is infinite, xi is also infinite. Then this is equal to, here, what is v? V is u minus t upon t xi. So just replace this value here. V is equal to this. So u minus t by t raised to the power alpha minus 1 and xi raised to the power alpha minus 1 divided by this quantity. So what is Vt according to this? Vt is equal to u minus t into xi. Vt is u minus t into xi. So u minus t into xi, this quantity, minus u minus t. So minus u minus t. Then dv is equal to this. So u minus t by t d xi. Simplify this. So here is u minus t. Here is u minus t. From here you can also take u minus t common. So u minus t by t raised to the power alpha minus 1. Limits is 0 to infinite. Xi raised to the power alpha minus 1 divided by, just take u minus t common. So u minus t into xi minus 1 and then u minus t by t d xi. So this u minus t is cancelled out with u minus t. Fine. So after simplification, what we will get? We will get this integral. Integral is 1 by t u minus t by t raised to the power alpha minus 1 and integral 0 to xi upon xi raised to the power alpha minus 1 divided by xi minus 1 d xi. This is equation number 2. Now case 2, when u is less than t. So when u is less than t, this, the value of xi will be this, tv upon t minus u. Fine. So again we will take this and then again substitute all you and then compute this integral. So what we will get? We will get this. So xi is this. So d xi will be t upon t minus u dv. At v equal to 0, xi is 0. At v equal to infinite, xi is infinite. Again same logic. Because t is positive, we will consider t is positive. So u minus t and u is less than t. So that's why. Fine. So now the integral is 0 to infinite t minus u by t raised to the power alpha minus 1. Integral number 1. Xi raised to the power alpha minus 1 t minus u by u, t minus u by t divide by t minus u xi minus u minus t d xi. Now again simplify. So from here you can take t minus u common. So t minus u, you will have xi plus 1 because this is t minus u, this is u minus t. So t minus u, we will have xi plus 1. This t minus u is cancelled out with t minus u. So and we will take t, the terms this and this outside because we are integrating with respect to xi, that's why. So 1 by t minus u upon t raised to the power alpha minus 1 integral 0 to epsilon infinite xi raised to the power alpha minus 1 divided by epsilon plus xi plus 1 d xi. This is third. So what is the value of integral? This is the integral, standard integral over. So this, its value is this value when t is in between 0 to u, and the value of the integral is this to this when u is less than t. Fine. Now this integral, the value of this integral, particular integral is minus pi cot alpha pi. We will prove it later on, but at this point the value of this integral is minus pi cot alpha pi. So replace कर दी इसकी वैल्यू, इसको हम बाद में प्रूव करेंगे, ठीक. And the value of this integral is pi upon sin alpha pi. इसकी वैल्यू है पाई अपॉन साइन अल्फा पाई, इसकी वैल्यू है माइनस पाई कॉट अल्फा पाई. ये वैल्यू हमने पुट कर दी. सो दिस इज द सॉल्यूशन ऑफ दिस आइडेंटिटी. सो दिस इज द आइडेंटिटी. फाइन. तो अब हम देखते हैं, पहले इन दोनों इंटीग्रल को हम प्रूव करेंगे. सो अभी के लिए हम इस इंटीग्रल को प्रूव कर रहे हैं. ये थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, इसको हम बाद में प्रूव करेंगे. ये थोड़ा इजी है, तो अभी हम इसको प्रूव कर रहे हैं. फाइन. सो वी आर प्रूविंग दिस पार्ट. The value of this integral is pi upon sin alpha pi. Let's see. This is the, to show that suppose j is 0 to infinite, j raised to the power alpha minus 1 upon j plus 1 d j is pi upon sin alpha pi. फाइन, ये हमें प्रूव करना है. सो टू प्रूव दिस वी वांट टू कन्वर्ट दिस इंटीग्रल इन टर्म्स ऑफ बीटा एंड गामा. और बीटा एंड गामा की जो लिमिट होती है वो होती है 0 to 1, यहाँ है 0 to इनफाइनाइट. सो हमें एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की ज़रूरत है. सपोज द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इज जाय अपॉन जाय इज इक्वल टू टी अपॉन 1 माइनस टी. फाइन, तो ऐसा इसलिए लिया कि 0 तो 0 पे चला जाए, बट इनफाइनाइट जो है वो 1 पे चला जाए. फाइन, so that's why we need this transformation. Now d जाए, just differentiate this. तो इसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे? First write down this, rewrite this numerator part, add and subtract 1. So we get 1 minus t plus t divided by 1 minus t. So this can be 1 upon 1 minus t separate, and from here minus, you will take minus common, so we get 1 minus t here. So 1 minus t divided by 1 minus t, so we get 1. So this is, so this minus 1 is taken in the left hand side, so we get xi plus 1 is equal to 1 upon 1 minus t. Now differentiate this. So when you differentiate this, you will get d xi. Differentiate this with respect to t, we get minus 1 upon 1 minus t whole square minus dt. So minus minus becomes plus, so dt upon 1 minus t whole square. Now when xi is 0 here, so t will be 0. Fine. When xi is 0, t is 0. When xi is infinite, this is infinite, that means this quantity should be 0, and this is possible when t is 1. ये infinite तब होगा जब ये quantity 0 हो, ये 0 तब होगी जब t की वैल्यू 1 होगी. ठीक. So this is the limit. So now integral j is here. This 0 is means t is 0, and this infinite means 1, so t is 1. Now xi means t upon 1 minus t raised to the power alpha minus 1, and this d xi, this and this xi plus 1 is basically what, 1 upon 1 minus t. और क्योंकि यहाँ रखेंगे तो ये ऊपर चला जाएगा घूम के after reversing, so we get 1 minus t. Then d xi means dt upon 1 minus t whole square. So now simplify. So after simplification we get 0 to 1 t raised to the power alpha minus 1 minus t raised to the power minus alpha dt. इसको हम लिख सकते हैं ये 1 minus alpha minus 1 dt. So this is nothing but beta gamma function. So beta alpha here, 1 minus alpha, this, and this is after simplification we get gamma alpha, gamma 1 minus alpha divided by gamma alpha plus 1 minus alpha. This alpha is cancelled out with alpha, so gamma alpha, gamma 1 minus alpha upon gamma 1. Gamma 1 is 1, so gamma alpha, gamma 1 minus alpha, and the value of this is nothing but pi upon sin alpha pi. ठीक. So the value of this is pi upon sin alpha pi. Here alpha is in between 0 and 1. ठीक. Similarly we will prove the second part, second integral, this integral, this. So we will prove this, but later on, हम इसको बाद में prove करेंगे. ठीक. Now at this end, suppose we will take special case. अल्फा की वैल्यू अगर हम हाफ पुट करें तो यहाँ पर here अल्फा की वैल्यू पुट अल्फा इज इक्वल टू हाफ here. So what we will get? तो हाफ यहाँ पुट करेंगे, राइट हैंड साइड में भी यहाँ हाफ 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 हाफ, हर जगह हाफ पुट करेंगे. सो आफ्टर पुटिंग हाफ व्हाट वी विल, तो यहाँ पे पुट करेंगे हाफ, यहाँ पे पुट करेंगे हाफ, यहाँ पे पुट करेंगे हाफ, यहाँ पे पुट करेंगे हाफ. सो व्हाट वी विल गेट दिस minus 0 to u minus s raised to the power s half ds upon u minus s minus t is equal to minus u minus t minus half divided by t raised to the power half pi upon pi cot pi by 2, when this t is in between 0 and u, and t minus u raised to the power minus half t raised to the power half pi upon sin pi by 2 ut. After simplification, because sin pi by 2 is 1 and cot pi by 2 is 0, so the value of minus 0 to u ds upon this square root, after simplification this we get ds upon square root of s into u minus s multiply by this s minus t is equal to 0 when t is in between 0 and u, and pi upon square root of t into t minus u, u is less than t. So this is the basically the our particular case. Fine. Now in the next video we will discuss identity number 2. We will discuss this in the next video. Fine. Thank you.